Wouldn't they step into a shrine everyone says is cursed? What if the spirits you were warned about turned out to be real and angry? 4 children from Umudike did the unthinkable, and now they have until dawn to fix what they broke. Will they survive the night? Let's find out. The moon hung low in the sky, casting long, eerie shadows over the quiet village of Umudike. The wind whispered through the tall palm trees, rustling their leaves as though unseen spirits were murmuring secrets to one another. Nnamdi, Chisom, Uche, and Okechukwu tiptoed past the sleeping huts, their hearts pounding with excitement. The air was thick with the scent of burning firewood and ripe palm fruit, but none of them were thinking about food. Their minds were fixed on one thing, the forbidden shrine. "Are you sure we should do this?" Chisom whispered, clutching her wrapper tightly. "It is just an old shrine," Uche scoffed. "The adults are trying to scare us." "But my grandma said spirit lived there," Chisom insisted. "She told me never to go near it." Nnamdi smirked. "If you are too scared, you can go back home." "I'm not scared," Chisom said quietly, raising her chin. Okechukwu pushed aside some overgrown weeds, revealing the shrine's entrance. It was a small withered building made of red mud bricks, each roof covered in thick layers of dead palm fronds. The walls had strange carvings, faded from years of neglect. "This place is creepy," Chisom whispered, hugging herself. The children hesitated. The air inside felt different, thicker, heavier, like the earth itself was holding its breath. "Let's just go in, take a quick look, and leave," Nnamdi said. Uche took the first step, followed by Okechukwu. Chisom swallowed her fear and entered last. The shrine smelled of dust and old wood. Cobwebs hung like curtains in the corners, and wooden statues of forgotten deities stood in eerie silence. Their carved eyes seemed to follow the children as they moved. A small clay pot sat in the center of the room. It was covered in strange symbols, its surface glittering as if it's wet. "What's that?" Uche asked, kicking the pot with his toe. "Don't touch it," Chisom warned, but it was too late. The pot toppled over, shattering it to pieces. A cold gush of wind rushed through the room. The walls seemed to shift, the carvings twisting into sinister shapes. Then they heard it, a voice, deep and ancient. "Who dares disturb the spirit of the night?" The children screamed and turned to run, but the doorway was no longer there. The shrine had changed. The walls shimmered, shifting like smoke. The statues now had glowing eyes watching them. Chisom clenched Nnamdi's hand. "We shouldn't have come here. We need to leave," Uche shouted, pulling at the walls, but his hands passed through them as though they were mist. Then out of the shadows, figures began to emerge, tall, shadowy, with glowing red eyes. They moved slowly, their whispering voices filling the room. "We have awakened them," Chisom whispered, her voice trembling. The spirits stepped forward, their whispers filling the room like rustling leaves in a storm. "You have broken the sacred vessel. You have awakened us," one of them said. "Now you must pay the price." "Please," Okechukwu pleaded. "We didn't mean to." "The spirits do not forgive easily," another shadow hissed. "To be free, you must bring us an offering before dawn. If not," the spirits paused, their glowing eyes narrowing, "you will remain in the world of the shadows forever." Chisom clenched Nnamdi's hand. "What do we have to bring?" "The golden feather of the sacred eagle," the spirits answered in unison. The children exchanged nervous glances. The golden eagle was a rare bird that lived in the tallest silk cotton tree by the river. The shadows receded into the walls, and suddenly the doorway was back. Without hesitation, the children ran outside, their breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The night was no longer quiet. Every rustling leaf, every distant hoot of an owl made them jump. "Where do we find a golden feather?" Uche asked, gasping for breath. Chisom's eyes widened. "My grandmother once told me of an eagle that lives at the top of the old silk cotton tree near the river. It has golden feathers." "Then that's where we go," Nnamdi declared. The children held hands and ran into the night, knowing that if they failed, they would never see daylight again. Their bare feet pounding against the cold earth. Twigs snapped under feet, and unforeseen creatures squealed away at their approach. The river came into view, its dark waters reflecting the moon. On the other side, the massive silk cotton tree stood tall, its ancient roots twisting like giant snakes. There it is, Chisom said. As they approached, the sound of rustling waters filled their ears. The children stopped at the edge of the river, their eyes fixed on the enormous tree. How do we get up there? Okechukwu asked, staring at the largest branch. We climb, Nnamdi said determinedly. Uche frowned. But what if the eagle attacks us? We have no choice, Chisom said. If we don't get the feather, we will be trapped forever. Just as they prepared to cross, a deep growl echoed through the night. The children spun around, their eyes widening in terror. From the shadows, two glowing eyes appeared. A massive black panther stepped forward, its sleek flaws glittering under the moonlight. It bared its teeth, a low rumble vibrating through its chest. What do we do? Uche whispered, stepping back. The panther growled again, crouching low as if preparing to pounce. Run! Nnamdi shouted. The children turned and sprinted towards the river, their feet splashing through the shallow water. But the panther was fast, too fast. Just as it lunged, a loud screech filled the air. A massive shadow swooped down from the silk cotton tree, its wings wide and powerful. The sacred eagle. The panther snarled, limping away as the great bird flapped its golden wings. The eagle landed on the lowest branch, its sharp eyes fixed on them. Now is our chance, Chisom whispered. We have to get the feathers. With great determination, Nnamdi climbed the tree, his fingers gripping the rough bark. The eagle watched him closely but did not attack. As he reached the highest branch, he saw it, a single golden feather resting in the nest. Carefully, he plucked it and hurried down. With the feather in hand, the children ran back to the shrine as the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon. The spirits emerged, their glowing eyes scanning the feather. You have done well, one of them said. The shadows faded, the shrine returning to normal. As the first rays of dawn stretched over the horizon, the children stood outside the shrine, their hearts still pounding. The cold morning air brushed against their skin, yet their palms were damped with sweat. They had survived the night, but something deep inside them had changed. Nnamdi turned to others. We can't tell anybody what happened. Chisom shivered. But what if something like this happens again? What if the spirits are not fully satisfied? Okechukwu shook his head. No one will believe us. They will just say we made it up. Uche kicked a stone on the ground. I don't care if they believe us or not. I just want to forget this night ever happened. They silently agreed and hurried home, trying to shake off the eerie feeling that clung to them. But the spirit of the night had other plans. That morning, the village woke up to a strange sight. Birds circled above the shrine, cawing loudly. The leaves of the palm tree trembled, even though there was no wind. A thick mist spread through the streets, crawling around the huts like ghostly figures. Elders gathered in the village square, murmuring in hushed tones. This has never happened before, one of them said. The gods are speaking, another added, his eyes filled with fear. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the four children sat outside Chisom's hut, staring at the mist that refused to clear. Something is wrong, Nnamdi muttered. We did everything they asked, Uche whispered. Why does it feel like it is not over? Just then, an old woman hobbled towards them. It was Nkem, the village storyteller, known for her knowledge of ancient legends. You children, she said, her eyes narrowing. I have been watching you. There is something you are not telling us. Chisom gulped. We don't know what you mean. Nkem leaned closer. The mist, the whispers in the wind. These are signs of a restless spirit. Tell me the truth. The children exchanged nervous glances. We went to the abandoned shrine last night, Okechukwu finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Nkem's eyes darkened. You did what? We broke a clay pot by accident, Chisom added. The spirits woke up. They asked for an offering, so we brought them the golden feather. Nkem's face turned green. Foolish children, she muttered. You have only completed half the ritual. The children's eyes widened. Half? Nnamdi repeated. The golden feather was only to pacify them for a short time, Nkem explained. But the vessel you broke was not just any pot. It held the soul of an ancient guardian. You must restore it, or the spirit will never rest. Chisom's stomach twisted. How do we do that? Nkem sighed. You must find the mirror of Nsani. It is the only thing that can reflect the truth of the soul. and restore balance. Uche frowned. Where do we find this mirror? The mirror lies deep within the cave of echoes, Nkem said. A place where shadows speak and only the bravest return. The children felt a cold shiver run down their spines. But Okechukwu stammered, "Isn't that cave cursed?" Nkem nodded. "That is why you must be careful. If you listen to the wrong echoes, you'll be trapped there forever." The children swallowed hard. They thought their adventure was over, but now they faced an even greater challenge. They had to find the mirror of Nsani before the spirits of the night consumed their village. That night they set off again, their legs shaky but their determination strong. The cave of echoes was beyond the river, past the whispering bamboo forest. It was a place where even hunters refused to go, for they said the air carried voices that were not of the living. With only a small oil lantern to guide them, they pushed through the thick underbush, their ears straining for any unusual sounds. Suddenly the ground trembled beneath their feet. The wind howled through the trees, carrying with it a voice, soft at first, then louder. "Turn back!" The children froze. "Did you hear that?" Chisom whispered. "Yes," Uche said, gripping his wrapper tightly. "Keep moving," Nnamdi urged, his voice steadier than he felt. As they neared the mouth of the cave, the air grew colder. The entrance was a dark gaping hole, the walls covered in ferns and ancient carvings. The moment they stepped inside, a low humming sound filled the air. The echoes had begun. "Welcome! Welcome! Welcome!" the voices whispered from the darkness. The children huddled together. They could no longer tell if the voices were inside their heads or coming from the cave's walls. Okechukwu held the lantern higher, revealing a stone altar in the middle of the cave. Upon it sat a mirror, its surface dark, as though it held a piece of the night sky. "The mirror of Nsani," Chisom breathed. As they stepped forward, the shadows around them moved. Figures emerged from the darkness. Figures with no faces, only shifting, twisting shadows. "You seek to undo what is done," one of them whispered. "But do you know the cost?" "The spirits need this mirror," Nnamdi said firmly. "We must take it back to the shrine." "The mirror reveals truth," the shadows murmured. "Are you ready to see your own?" The children hesitated. Then one by one the figures melted away, except for one. A shadow, separated from the darkness, and it took its form of a boy who looked exactly like Nnamdi. Chisom gasped. "It's you!" Nnamdi's heart pounded. The shadow mimicked his movements, tilting its head the same way he did. Then it spoke. "You are brave, but you are also afraid," it whispered. "You pretend to be fearless, but inside you doubt yourself." Nnamdi clenched his fists. "That's not true." The shadow smiled, a hollow, empty smile. "The mirror does not lie." The other children took a step back, their breathing coming fast. What was happening? One by one, the shadows of their own selves emerged, whispering their deepest fears, their darkest thoughts. Chisom's shadow stepped forward. "You want to be strong, but you always feel weak." Uche's shadow grinned. "You pretend to be tough, but you are scared of being alone." Okechukwu shadows whispered. "You act confident, but you fear you will never be good enough." The children stood frozen, trapped in the truth of their own reflection. The mirror of Nsani shimmered. "You must face your fears," the shadows whispered, "or remain here forever." Nnamdi took a deep breath. "I am afraid, but I will not let my fear control me." As soon as he spoke, his shadow vanished. The others, understanding what they had to do, accepted their own fears. One by one, their shadows disappeared. The cave fell silent. The children grabbed the mirror and ran. They had won this battle, but the spirit of the night were not finished with them yet. The children ran through the dark forest, clenching the mirror of Nsani as the whispers of the cave faded behind them. The mist in the village had grew thicker, coiling around the trees like ghostly fingers. The night air was heavy, carrying distant sounds of drums, but no one in the village was playing them. "They are waiting," Chisom whispered, looking over her shoulder. "The spirits know we are coming." "We don't have time to be scared," Nnamdi said. "Let's finish this." They pushed forward, their bare feet clapping against the damp earth, until the shrine loomed ahead. The moment they stepped inside, the walls shifted, twisting, stretching as if the very air was alive. The spirits emerged. "You have returned," they whispered in unison. "Or have you brought what was lost?" Okechukwu held up the mirror of Nsani. Its face glowed faintly, reflecting not just their faces, but shapes, figures of people long gone. "This is what you asked for," Nnamdi said firmly. "Now let our village be free." The spirits circled the mirror, their dark forms shifting. Then from the depth of the shadows, a single figure stepped forward. Not a spirit, but an old man, his face etched with sorrow. The children gasped. It was the guardian whose soul has been trapped in the broken pot. "I have been lost for many years," the old man whispered, his voice carrying centuries of pain. "But now the mirror has shown me my truth." The spirits watched in silence as the old man stepped into the mirror. His reflection shimmered, then merged into the glass. The mirror paused, then cracked, splitting into 1,000 tiny shades of light before vanishing into the thin air. A gust of wind rushed through the shrine. The air shifted, the weight of the night lifting. The spirit's red eyes dimmed. "The balance has been restored," they whispered. "The mistake has been undone." The walls stopped shifting. The eating room faded. The mist outside began to clear. The children exhaled, a deep relief breath. They had done it. One by one, the spirit vanished, leaving only the quiet hum of the night. It was over. By morning, the village felt different. The air was crisp, the sun brighter than it had been in days. The elders noticed it first. The strange mist was gone. The shadows no longer whispered. The children never spoke of what happened that night, but they carried the lesson in their hearts forever. Moral lesson. Curiosity is not a bad thing, but it must be guided by wisdom. In our everyday life, our actions have consequences, just like the children in the story. Sometimes we take things lightly, breaking rules, ignoring warnings, or acting out of curiosity without thinking about the dangers. In our quest for adventure, it is easy to be drawn to the forbidden, to be tempted by curiosity or peer pressure. However, true courage isn't about defining warnings or risking danger. It is about confronting our fears, learning from our mistake, and knowing when to turn back. Just as the children had to face the spirits they awakened, in real life we must face the result of our actions, whether good or bad. Ultimately, this story reminds us that every action has a reaction, and we must always think before we act, respect our past, and face our fear with courage. It also reminds us that balance in life is delicate, and every action, whether small or large, carries weight. Be careful how you seek the truth you seek. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, and stay tuned for another thrilling story. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and always choose wisely.